Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 9 of breaking it down for the Camera Peak in the Thompson Zone of the East Troublesome Fire. My name is Chris Barth. I'm a Public Information Officer with Pacific Northwest Team 2. Today is Wednesday, November 4th. I want to give you an update on where the fire is at currently. We're at 208,913 acres on the Cameron Peak fire. We are up to 92% containment on that fire. On the Thompson Zone of the East Troublesome Fire, we're at 4,889 acres, and we're up to 48% containment on that fire. We have just under 1,100 personnel, so just under 1,100 personnel assigned to both of those fires today. And for our update, we want to give you some information about the incident weather, the fire weather. We're going to have our incident meteorologist, Steve Ippoliti. Then we're going to touch base with one of our operations section chief, Sam Tacchini. But first, I want to introduce our incident meteorologist, Steve Ippoliti.
Good morning. I'm Stephen Ippoliti. I'm the incident meteorologist here on the fire. And what we're looking at today, we have a weak upper level disturbance that's going to move across, and it's going to bring some windy conditions. A weak cold front will move through as well, but not going to see too much of a temperature drop, mainly a wind increase. And that's going to be out of the west-northwest to northwest. And tomorrow we'll get a little bit of quiet weather. High pressure builds in briefly, and then we get a pretty vigorous system that starts building in from the west and southwest. And that's going to turn the winds to the southwest and make them increase again for Friday and Saturday. And after that, for Saturday night, we're looking at probably some snow in the higher elevations, especially to the west, 3 to 5 inches, and then much colder temperatures for Sunday and into Monday for the rest of the week.
Great, thanks, Stephen. Appreciate that. So, as I said, we'd like to have our one of our operations section chief, Sam Tacchini, is going to come up and give us an update on where they were at yesterday, where some of that containment's been increasing, what they're looking at doing today, and then talk a little bit about our suppression repair, where a lot of that energy is going to be focused today. So, Sam?
All right. Hello, everyone. Sam Tacchini, operations trainee for Pacific Northwest Team 2. Like Chris mentioned, today I'll be going into some current situation and a little bit of an insight into today's operational plan. So we'll get started up in Branch 1, Division Delta. So Division Delta is mainly a suppression repair operation. We still have folks monitoring and patrolling. There is some interior smokes along Highway 1 or Highway 14, just making sure that nothing's going on in there and everything's quiet. The Highway 14 area will have heavy equipment moving through it today over to the DP10, DP530 area to get in place for their suppression repair operation. We also got a crew hiking into Long Draw Lake area, removing structure wrap and other equipment and getting that off of those structures. As we go back up around Division Delta to the north, we have some suppression repair going on the Red Feather Lake area. So we have heavy equipment working in there and moving around up in that area. And still plowing out some roads, moving north away from the fire's edge so we can continue to pull water handling equipment. As we move down into Branch 2 and Division Tango, a lot of good suppression repair work is going on around the Buckhorn area. We also have crews and engines also just making sure if any small smokes pop up interior inside the fire's edge, they're there to extinguish those if need be. Division Tango is also overseeing the work in the Pingree area. Once again, we're moving water handling equipment from the Pingree area. We got folks monitoring a little bit of interior smoke and heat, but all is looking really good in there, and we have plans in place if anything were to arise with aviation resources in there. Around the CSU campus, if we were getting a couple smokes to pop up inside the edge, and we're having good success at putting out those smokes as they arise. As we move down into, I'm going to turn here. As we move into Division Uniform Victor in Branch 2, that's mainly a suppression repair effort in there. They do have a couple other engine resources doing a little bit of patrolling. We haven't seen smoke and heat in there for a few days, and so they got crews and heavy equipment working suppression repair in that area. Moving into our Branch 3 Division Yankee X-ray, we have a hot shot crew, a type 1 crew, still between the Cedar Park, the Glen Haven, and the retreat area, where we have smokes arising inside our fire's edge, where they're able to gain access. They're still going up there and extinguishing those smokes and hot spots. And so they'll be in there today still, making sure that that line is staying secure. The Glen Haven area, we still got folks in there removing water handling equipment. And X-Ray and Yankee have some suppression repair projects going on, small ones. And when we're looking to move some more heavy equipment into that area for suppression repair. Yesterday, if folks out there had seen maybe some of the videos from some of what we were doing farther inside the fire, we had Aviation Resources doing bucket work in retardant, and that was a successful mission west of the retreat area, in an area where we're just not accessible for us to put folks in there safely. And we still have that ability today, depending on the weather and the winds. And so we're always monitoring that stuff, but yesterday it looked really good. Moving down into Estes Park, down into our Division Whiskey on the north side, or Division Zulu on the south side. Our crews in there, and you'll see that there's more black, right? The more of what we're calling our secure fire edge keeps showing up around those edges. It's a product of us and folks before us. So the Beaver Marsh area, on this north kind of east side of the Thompson zone, before we got here, they had some pretty good success with their back burning, putting people in on trails, using natural barrier stuff, and making sure that going in there and putting that stuff out. And now we're just going in there and going back in and kind of walking it, getting on that edge, making sure the heat is out. And as we can call it secure, you'll keep seeing black going in there. We're also getting farther along with starting our suppression repair in the park. So Division Zulu and Division Whiskey has started a couple small projects, combined effort with the park for sure on getting that suppression repair started up. I think that's it, unless there's any questions.
Yeah, Sam, before I let you go, I wanted to touch base. I'm glad you talked about the helicopter yesterday. We saw the video, so appreciate that. We're using those aviation assets to put out, to bring attention to and to help extinguish any heat or make sure the fire doesn't go anywhere where we're seeing that. Can you talk a little bit more about the aviation and how we're kind of seeking it, using those strategically where we see smoke and some signs of heat?
Yeah, I can try to elaborate on that a little bit. So I'll start back with, for today's operation, we have what's called aerial supervision. And today aerial supervision will be in the air, barring weather or any other thing that would make it have to stay on the ground. Aerial supervision will get up and monitor and patrol from the air. And along with ground resources being around the fire with good lookout areas, we'll, if we see areas of concern, smokes or heat or anything starting to move around a little bit, we'll use that area out to the west of DP 470. We would then, call in and request our helicopters for bucket work, water drops, and that would be our primary. That would be our primary. Our first start would be to get those aviation resources up there and prioritize where to put the water or retardant.
Okay, great. And we have 7 helicopters currently today. Plenty. We still have some retardant available, so appreciate that. You talked a lot about suppression repair. So without necessarily looking at exactly where that's happening on the map, but can you talk just kind of about generally what that is? So I think people understand it, but can you talk about how we go in and try to repair the work that was done so that it's back to a condition that it was like before?
Yes. So it all starts with us working with the agency that has the land, and they have folks that we coordinate with, resource advisors, and they come up with their plans on how to repair certain pieces of land, and then we follow those guidelines to make sure we're doing it correctly. So, for example, on this one, if we have dozer lines, there's a heavy equipment called excavators, where we'll be going in and doing work to, make sure there's not going to be major runoff with water. Or if they'll have hand lines, and that's usually done with hand crews. Same thing, we are putting stuff into place to make sure that the line disappears and water doesn't run straight down off the hill and make more damage. We got a chipping operation, so fuels that were cut, small diameter fuels along roadways. We'll bring chippers in and chip that material, or if it's larger wood material that was cut for suppression lines, we will have oversight, supervision of machinery pulling that to certain locations to clean that up. That's a few of the suppression repair stuff we have going on.
Great. All right. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Everybody, thanks for joining us today. We're going to continue to provide you content showing all those things that we've been talking about today, that suppression repair work, the videos of the aviation dropping retardant in those spots that we're seeing. We're going to continue to provide you that content throughout the day. Reminder that we will be breaking it down again day 10 tomorrow morning at 8:30, and look forward to seeing you then. Thank you.